Hey, book lovers, welcome to While I Read. I'm Katie Dodrell, and today I'm going to talk with you about a very controversial topic. This is a very serious issue and a debate that has raged for several years now. The question is this: which is better, a physical book or an e reader? Today, I'm going to talk with you about the benefits of both, and I'm going to reveal which one I prefer for my own reading. If you've watched this show before, you probably already know the answer to that, but you can pretend you don't. I've actually got two guests here to talk about this important issue. Hello, I'm a physical book. Hey, I'm a Kindle. I'm going to let these guests tell you about why they're the better way to read. Okay, physical book, you're up first. As a physical book, I'm just so beautiful and attractive. I always look my best. And you know, I smell so good. I'm definitely the best. But I'm so convenient. I'll never get in your way or make your house look messy. You can take me anywhere. I'm so low maintenance. I'm definitely the best. Well, my battery will never die, but I'm super discreet and will always keep your secrets. I've got more class. Okay. That didn't go well. Obviously, both physical books and e-readers have their good points and their bad points. First, I want to list the reasons why I love physical books. Physical books are all that I read until I got my Kindle when I was in my late 20s, and they definitely have a lot of good points. One thing I love about physical books is the way they feel. You just can't beat the feel of a good physical book in your hand. There's not a lot to say about it, but I know if you're a reader, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Sorry. So going along with the way the book feels is the way a book smells. Every book lover knows what I'm talking about with this. When you walk into a library, you just can't beat that smell of paper and ink and just a little bit of magic. An e-reader could never equal that smell. Next, I want to talk about the beautiful covers and illustrations that you'll find in physical books. I have a Kindle Paperwhite, but even if you have a Kindle Fire, which is in color, it's still not the same as a real physical book. I remember when I first read the Harry Potter books. One of the most magical things about them were their beautiful covers, and also at the beginning of each chapter, there's a small illustration, and every page has the little tiny stars on it that I love. You're just not going to get that with an e-reader. I bought all the Harry Potter books on Kindle when they came out a few years ago, and I can tell you that reading those books on my Kindle just doesn't give me the same happy feeling as seeing those iconic covers with the beautiful illustrations. They just don't have the same magic. The books here on my shelves are old friends, and it just makes me happy to look at them. You just don't get that feeling with an e-reader. Another thing that you have to love about physical books is that they never have glitches. When I read my Kindle, I have to make sure it's charged, make sure it's connected to the internet if I want to buy a book. Every now and then, something on my Kindle won't work. Usually just restarting it fixes the problem, but it's annoying to have to restart it, and sometimes that doesn't fix the problem. I got really annoyed with the Amazon Help Center recently because my Kindle was having some kind of stupid glitch where whenever I would try to search for a book in the Kindle store, the whole menu would just disappear and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't search for a book. I couldn't even close the Kindle store without restarting my Kindle. So I had to go on the Amazon site. I clicked the help button to talk with someone, and I talked with two separate customer service representatives who may or may not have been AI. The first one that I talked to gave me a couple of suggestions to try. I tried both of them, they didn't work, and then the person I was talking to, or the AI I was talking to, just ghosted me. They just disappeared. So then another AI came on to try to help me. I told them the problem, and they couldn't fix it either. They told me they were creating a ticket and someone from Amazon would call me, but no one from Amazon ever called me. I do have to say the issue after a week or so just fixed itself, but it was still annoying to have to deal with it. Obviously, you'd never have that problem with a physical book. You just pick it up and read it, and there's something to be said for that simplicity. So those are some of the things that I like about real physical books. Now let's talk about what I like about e-readers, and specifically for me, my Kindle. The number one thing I like is that I can buy books instantly. If I hear or read about a book that looks good to me, I can just go on the Kindle store and buy it right then. I don't have to try to remember it or write it down. I don't have to wait until I can make a trip to the bookstore or for the book to come in with UPS. If I finish a book in a series, I can instantly start reading the next book unless it hasn't come out yet. I'm a big mood reader, and sometimes I'll just think of a book that I've read before that for whatever reason I want to read again. On my Kindle, I can find it instantly. For example, when I went to visit my in-laws recently, I started thinking about a murder mystery that I read a few years ago that's about a woman visiting her in-laws. I promise I love my in-laws. I don't want any of them to be murdered, but I did want to read that book while I was there. Because I had my Kindle, I was able to instantly pull the book up and read it. The next thing I like about reading on my Kindle is that I can adjust the font to be the exact size that I want it to be. It was always annoying to me to read physical books that have really tiny print. It just makes the reading process not as fun. Honestly, I think that's probably been the reason that I've DNF'd some books before, if it was hard for me to see their print. So that's something that I love about the Kindle. Another thing that I love about my Kindle is that I can read in bed with no light. Sometimes I want to stay up later than my husband, and I love that I can read my Kindle without having to have the bedside lamp on and keep him awake. A lot of times at night, I get really sleepy while I'm reading, and it's great that I can just throw the Kindle down when I'm done with it. I don't have to worry about reaching out to turn off my light. This may seem like a very small thing, and it is, but it's one of the things that makes me love my Kindle. One huge thing that I love about my Kindle is that I can take every book I own with me everywhere I go. When I go on a trip, I don't have to worry about guessing what book I'll be in the mood to read while I'm there. I just take my Kindle and I have every book that I own. When I go on trips now, I have a lot more room in my suitcase. Or if I'm just going out for the day, it's a lot easier to just grab my Kindle and slip that in my purse, something I couldn't do if I had a big, thick book. If I'm on a trip and get in the mood to read a certain book, like when I visited my in-laws recently, I can just pull it up on my Kindle and read it right then. I'm always prepared with something to read. Another benefit of reading on a Kindle or any type of e-reader is that nobody knows what you're reading. I discovered this when I was at an education conference a few years ago. I get nervous when I travel, and I like to have comfort books to read, books that just sort of make me feel better. One of my main comfort books is books in the Babysitter's Club series. And so I was sitting at this education conference reading on my Kindle, and I was reading a Babysitter's Club book. But for all anyone there knew, I was reading an education manual. Nobody had to know that it was really a Babysitter's Club book. This would also be true if you're reading something like 50 Shades of Grey, but you don't want people to know that you're reading that. A Kindle is very discreet. It will keep your secrets. Another huge benefit for me of reading on a Kindle is that you never lose books. I'm a really disorganized person. I am trying to get better about it, but I've just accepted the fact that I will never be super organized. I love to reread books, but in the past, I would have no idea where the book that I wanted to reread was. I have a lot of physical books. The books on my shelves here, this is just some of my book collection. There are actually a lot more books at my parents' house on their bookshelves. Believe me, not being able to find books that I wanted to read used to be a big annoyance in my life. But now with my Kindle, I can just type the book that I want to read in the search bar. It pops up immediately and I can read it. I do have a problem with misplacing my Kindle sometimes, but as you can see, my mom got me this cool AirTag. So now if I misplace my Kindle, I can just go to find my device on my phone and I can make my Kindle beep and I'll be able to find it. So never losing books is a big reason why I love my Kindle. Last but not least, the final reason why I love my Kindle is that there is less clutter. This may be a controversial reason, and I want to stress for all of you that I would never consider a book to be clutter. I love books. I love how they look on my shelves. I love seeing my good old friendly books. However, I own a lot of books. It's hard for me to get rid of books, even books that I don't really like. I'm going to keep buying books. Now I have a daughter and I buy a lot of books for her. We've established that I'm not an organized person. If I buy a book on my Kindle, I don't have to worry about where I'm going to put it. That makes my life so much easier. If you were keeping count, you saw that I had 4 things that I like better about reading physical books and 7 things that I like better about reading my Kindle. So, if you didn't already know it, you do now. I do prefer reading on my Kindle now to reading a physical book. There are a lot of things that I absolutely love about my physical books. I don't plan on getting rid of any of my Kindle books, but overall, for the convenience and portability, I do like reading on my Kindle better. But I'm just so pretty. I'm sorry, physical book. I do still love you, and you are really pretty. I know this is a controversial topic, and I'd love for you to weigh in. Do you prefer reading a physical book or an e-reader? Leave your thoughts about it in the comments. What are some things you like about both methods? Now, go make yourself presentable while I read.